Good evening. It's Thursday, October 5th, 2023, and welcome to our monthly Your Questions Answered. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
And I'm cautiously pushing my HT back so it doesn't fall and knock my camera over. I'm Joe, KD9CJX. Good evening.
All right, good evening. And for those of you that are catching us later on the team replay, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to you. That is a line from The Truman Show.
I was going to say, where did that come from? Oh, yes, The Truman Show.
We got people starting to fill into the chat, and drop your questions in, your ham radio related questions. We'll try to do as many as we can this evening in the next hour and a half. We got some great stuff lined up for tonight's show. A little bit of a foreshadowing there. Joe's wearing some of our new swag. So we'll talk about the...
Get that up there a little bit. Get my ample bosom up there. Let's see here. Well, I do have the stickers, right? There.
Oh yeah. We'll talk. Yeah. We'll be talking about So we'll be talking about the ham radio campout.
We'll talk about how Michael almost had a federal felony investigation concluded on him.
Oh, crazy time. So yeah, that'll be at about the 8 o'clock hour, or we're 7 o'clock now. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a good show. Travis might even be able to join us. We'll see how his schedule's going. But we got, like I said, we got people starting to file in here. Our buddy Scout.
Hey, Scout.
Good evening. And Tariq, how's it going? It's going great. A-OK. And our buddy 45 down in South Texas.
There we go.
Yeah, Don Z over in the Twin Cities. Yep. Yeah, down from the other river.
Yep, I was actually in the Twin Cities area about 2 weeks ago, driving back from Canada. So just a side note, this is just weird. Not that I'm going to encourage the use of substances, but of course, Minnesota's the newest state to allow substances, right?
Substances.
And I went up to Canada a couple weeks ago, and on my way back, going through the border, you're not bringing any marijuana or cannabis back. I'm like, no. I mean, if I wanted it, I would just get it at the gas station about 500 yards that way. And sure enough, we stopped at that gas station, and they had a little bit of the cannabis, if you know what I mean. So I did not partake, however. I don't. I'll laugh about it. I'll make jokes about it, but I'm able to fall asleep at any given point in time, anyways, and I eat too much, anyways. Why would I want to do cannabis? Right?
Yeah, why would you?
It's like I'm permanently high.
There you go. So, we got Reed. Good evening, our buddy Dave, south side of town, Dave. And hey, Joe, do you want an apprentice?
So. That depends. What type of work? If we're being a drunk guy, maybe.
Maybe. Oh man, we got so many people here. Todd, he's going to be joining us at the campout this weekend.
There we go.
So great. We'll be. It's going to be an awesome time. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep, and hopefully the weather holds out. I'm hoping for at least dry weather. Doesn't have to be warm. It just has to be dry.
Dry. That is correct. And it looks like I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's going to be cold this weekend in Wisconsin. They're talking a high of around 50 degrees for the next 3 days, but then it's going to bump back up again to about 60-ish. And I'm hoping it's going to stay that way.
So the National Weather Service has put out till Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday, it's patchy frost, partly sunny, 54. Thursday, partly sunny, high at 54. So I don't see rain later in the week, but who knows? It's a crapshoot at this point.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time regardless. We'll talk more about it down the road here.
Yeah, so we got lots of people coming in here, so it's going to be a good crowd tonight.
Lot from West Virginia and Saskatchewan. Here we go.
Saskatchewan, yeah.
It's already snowing in Saskatchewan.
I like making contacts with people in Saskatchewan, because then I got to say Saskatchewan over the air.
There you go. Heavy emphasis on the sass.
Yeah, will I say it correctly or not?
That's like you're trying to name all the Wisconsin cities.
And that's right. We were, yeah. Face to face at Ham Radio Outlet. That's right. We did run into each other. So Superfest was 2 weeks ago down in the HRO in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Or what we call pre-holiday shopping at Superfest.
Yep, pre-holiday shopping. Threadripper wants to know why I don't confirm my FT8 contacts on Q or Z or Logbook of the World. I do confirm on Logbook of the World, but I got a big stack. Oh man, what'll usually happen is when I get an afternoon of nothing to do, I'll do it for about a couple hours. I'll just start uploading logs to LOTW. And the last time I've done that is probably around April. So I got about 30 logs or so I got to get uploaded. So it's they'll get up there. They'll get up there for Logbook. I don't do QRZ. I probably should, but I haven't been doing anything on QRZ. So,
well, you know what? Someone was looking to be an apprentice. Maybe he can be your logging apprentice.
Well, there we go. I always said I needed a producer. I could use a couple of production assistants too. You know,
right? Production assistant. That means work or free intern. He'll give you stickers and maybe a scratch and dent J-pole for your services.
There we go, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
My neighbor just from up the hill.
I believe it was Nathan we helped with he built an NFET antenna.
Yes.
Yeah. The only 16-year-old I know that has a tiny SA. I'm like, where did you get that? And how do you know how to use it? And you're only 16.
He built a Fox. He had it at our club meeting earlier this week.
Oh, did he? Great.
But we got one of those tiny Harbor Freight cases, and threw a Baofeng in it. Got some Fox software to run on an Arduino and hacked a cable. And he's got a little.
There we go.
Yeah, built a little Fox. Now we're gonna have a Fox on to see how it's just to make sure it works.
It's been a little while since we've had one.
It has been.
Yeah, I think the last one we had was during COVID.
Yeah, well, or the year after COVID, 2021. I think it's been 2 years, so maybe we're gonna have to do something in November.
Yeah, if we have time. 45 Auto. Do the production assistants get paid in squeaky cheese and spotted cow? Well, first of all, it's squeaky cheese curds. Get it right. You're already disqualified for being our production assistant.
Yeah.
And maybe a spotted cow.
Maybe a spotted cow.
Nathan will probably have to find something NA.
all the PBR you can drink.
Oh.
My daughter likes Pabst Blue Ribbon, and she was excited. She found a bar that had $2 PBRs, so it was.
Well, at $2 for a tapper, I don't think you can complain.
No. Actually, those were cans. I think they were cans even.
$2 cans.
$2 cans. When
I was in college, there was a bar that had $1 cans of hams.
Oh, $1 hams.
$1 hams. That was a proposition to be made right there. Like, you're luring me in with the cheap beer, but you know that I'm going to pay for Jaeger bombs, right? Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh,
PBR,
yeah.
he quits.
Quit. Well, according to Scott, Squeaky Cheese was his nickname in high school. So
I don't want to know how you got that one there, Scott.
we got a question I'm going to grab here, and then we're going to get into some into some breaking news. But Tariq asks, can there be nets done using any radio service or just amateur radio? Yes, nets can be run on any radio service. There's nothing that would forbid you to not run a net, because a net is just a gathering of a group of people, and then you have one person that's in charge of the of maintaining order of the communications, your net control operator. So
Good
you could
luck
do a
keeping
net.
order, but go
Yeah,
for it.
go for it. So you could do nets on the MURS band. You could do nets on GMRS. You could do nets on the family radio service. Yeah, it's all open to all of those. I know, actually, years and years ago, when we actually had a React group in town, they would have a net on their GMRS repeaters. Everybody would check in and make sure their equipment worked. So it was, yeah, you can do that. So it doesn't really matter what radio service you're on. Just if you got a bunch of people willing to want to get on the frequency and do a round table and have a person in charge, bammo, you got a net. So
Hey, I've seen lots nets with less. Okay.
All right. Yeah, Dodd says, the last time he had a hangover was 30 years ago drinking PBR.
Ooh, rec league drinking. Oh boy. Yeah. There's a problem there.
Yep, exactly. So hey, I got some breaking news. This is actually was announced. Yeah, we need some. We need some. I wish I had the appropriate sound effect, but I don't.
How about I'm Ron Burgundy? I don't know.
You could try that. Let's see here. The ARRL has announced today that the comment deadline set on proposed 60-meter band changes has just been opened up. If you remember, back in April of this year, the FCC announced, made a notice of what's it in our a notice of rulemaking. I can't remember
proposed
the exact
rulemaking. I think
notice of proposed rulemaking. Yes. That they wanted to make some changes to the 60-meter band in order to have it align with the 2015 World Radio Teleconference. And what that means is that right now, if you're familiar with 60 meters, we've got 5 discrete channels, and you can you run in those channels, and you're limited to 150 watts EIRP, or roughly 100 watts ERP.
150?
I think it was. Isn't it 150 or is it 100 watt? I thought it was 100. 100 watts EIRP.
Yes. Yeah, and I think 30 meters is 200.
No, it says affected radiated power of 100 watts.
Yep. So 100 on 60.
Yep. The change, which would align with the 2015 World Radio Communication Conference, is to only allow 15 kilohertz of contiguous spectrum and a power level of only 15 watts EIRP, which is roughly 9.1 watts of ERP. So if you remember, the federal government is the primary user of that spectrum, that 5 megahertz spectrum in the 60 meter band. And so this actually, so the league is proposing that, or they're asking that the FCC keep the channels and keep the power limits, but also give us that little bit of extra spectrum, because these the 60 meter band actually works as a very good gateway between amateur radio and governmental and non-governmental organizations, because it's, since we've got a secondary allocation on these frequencies, we can interface with NGOs or government agencies and easily communicate between them on us using our amateur spectrum and them using the 60 meter band.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple things here to really consider. So the FCC is proposing that they eliminate the channels and then move the actual band and give us a 15 kilohertz spread, okay, but with an effective radiated power of 15 watts. So a couple of things that just 60 meters has always been kind of the bastard child of amateur radio, at least for the past 15 years it's been available. First of all, it's going to be very difficult for you as a ham that has a radio with set frequencies, because most recent radios have the 60 meter bands as channels in the memory. So that's either going to require a firmware upgrade, or it's going to require some sort of physical manipulation of the radio. Usually, it used to always be opening up a diode or something on there to get our current radios to actually work in this new band. That could be one of those issues where it opens up a can of worms. Does the FCC really want us to have radios that are going to be operating outside of bands? Just food for thought. Going to throw it out there. Next of all, this is the only band that uses EIRP versus peak envelope power. Okay. So you said that 15 watts EIRP is about 9.1.
One ERP, effective radiated power. Yeah.
Yeah. So hard to really calculate that for the regular amateur. Can we convert that to peak envelope power? Peak envelope power being what's coming out of the transmitter, right?
Well, coming out of the antenna. Well, no. Peak envelope power is what's coming out of the transmitter.
Yeah.
ERP is what's coming out of the antenna.
Is what's coming out of the antenna, right?
Yeah.
And I think 60 meters also said you can't use an antenna with like you can't use directional antennas, if I'm right, or is that 30 meters?
I don't know. I
Maybe,
don't know.
yeah.
Well, a directional antenna is going to be challenging on the 60 meter band to begin with,
because your ERP is then going to skyrocket unless you're running less than a watt.
Yeah, most of the times they've recommended that if you're going to use, for the 60 meter band, you should be using a dipole or a similar type of antenna that you can easily calculate ERP on.
Right. So can we change this to either 15 watts peak envelope power and keep it standard across the board? Or can we just say peak envelope power 100 watts, no directional antennas?
Well, that's a good question.
I think that would make it fair. But the problem is there's so little use of the 60 meter band now. If they took it away or they change it, is it really going to help anything? I don't know. I agree that we need to keep those interoperation channels open and available for amateur radio in the event that we do need to use them with NGOs or government organizations. But it's just that in order for us to move that whole spectrum, everyone's going to have to make some adjustments to the transceiver.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so exactly.
That's I think is a little bit of for the average everyday ham. I think there's going to be some kickback to that. Those who are a little more technically inclined, or if Yaesu or ICOM or the major manufacturers out there decide to make a release. I mean, because most of the newer radios are all software.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I, we both have FTDX 3000s, which are a great radio, but Yaesu just discontinued them last year. Are they going to retroactively go back and release a firmware update to fix those now?
Either
Probably
that, or
not.
either that, or you're just going to have to do the Mars mod or something.
Right. So, I'd like to see some input from the manufacturers on that to see what they're going to offer on it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, this is really trying to bring us into alignment with the rest of the world that
Yep.
has 60-meter access.
So now consider this. Even though the rest of the world has got the 60-meter limits that the FCC is proposing, Canada does not. They at this point they're still continuing to use the 5 discrete channels and the higher power limits. And
right.
also, one of the advantages of the higher power and those 5 channels is that 60 meters actually works quite well into Central America, the Caribbean islands. And it's been used quite frequently as a resource during hurricanes and during, as for hurricane communications abilities, between the islands and also between the islands and coastal U.S. So
Right.
it's
Yeah. So I would, I've never heard government government traffic except on like Channel 1. I think it was one of the big hurricanes down in Texas a few years ago. There was some FEMOs on Channel 1.
mm-hmm.
Other than that, I've never heard it. So I guess, how much does the government even use those channels?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I guess, there's another thing too to ask is how much are they actually doing on this? So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of, giving us more bandwidth. That's great. But this is one where there's going to be some challenges, I think. It's just like 630 and 2200 meters. When they opened that up a few years ago, there's still nothing really commercially made out there for those bands. We're all making it
No,
ourselves.
that stuff is
Um,
all, that's all homebrew stuff.
yeah,
So,
there's some kits and stuff out there now, but realistically, if they're going to open it up, I think you still got to leave the channels, just because everyone has in the past 15 years, every radio that's made has 60-meter capabilities.
yep.
So you're basically going to uh, just throw that out the window if you delete that, and then they're going to all have to go buy another radio or hope that
Or
ICOM and
something.
Yaesu does something to open them up.
Yeah. Or they're able to mod it or something. So,
Right.
yeah. Hell yeah. Alexander brings up a good point. Most 100-watt radios won't transmit that low, even if you set it for 5 watts, it could be, it could be higher. So
Right. So peak envelope power, and of course, that's always a kicker. Is that, hey, so you're maybe running an amp at an average of 900 or 1,000 watts, but you're peaking over 1,500, right? It
yeah.
kind of is the same thing when you're running low power too. Your QRP and you're running 5 watts, and that's kind of average. You may actually hit 8 or 9 sometimes on bigger peaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that has to be taken into consideration too. I don't think that's a big issue. I mean, those peaks aren't really, wrecking it for everyone, so to
Yeah.
say, especially at that low power. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I am interested to see what the FCC does of this.
Yep. So, and if you want to make your voice heard on this article, you'll find the link to the article just right off the main page on the ARRL website. They've got a link right here. The docket number is WT-23-120, and that'll take you to the FCC, and you can submit a filing.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
So easy a caveman could do it.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something like that. So, all right. We got a super chat from the Adventures in Blind Videography. Love your videos. So that is great to hear. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And Adventures always asked us a question too. Now he's a blind operator and has a question about the window screen antenna. How do you attach wires to it so that it functions as a ground radio system?
Oh, okay.
And it's what there's a couple things you can do. What I do is that the base that I use for my vertical antenna is it's a metal base. And if I set my metal base on top of the screen, it does it establishes continuity between the screen and the base and the antenna and or the ground side of the antenna. So I don't need to attach a wire to it at all. But if you're so it's if you're using like the Wolf River coil and they've got like the Wolf River coil tripod legs and that, a lot of people just set that right onto the screen. And it'll all work. If you've got a base, if you're using a more standard tripod, like one of those buddy stick tripods, you don't get that continuity. So there, I just made a short piece of wire with a couple of alligator clips on it, and then one clip goes onto the screen, and then the other clip goes onto the ground side of the antenna. And that will give you the connection for the ground wires. And Joe is holding up
I'm holding up a
wire.
Little jumper cable with gator clips here, and basically, as long as it's not on the actual antenna, the radiating section, or the coil, any other metal on that Wolf River coil is going to be ground, or is going to be going back to ground on the transmitter. So whether it's the leg, whether it's the base, you could even clip it to the outside of the SO239 or PL239 or 259.
259.
Right. Just about anything except the actual antenna itself, the actual radiating portion.
The radiating part of the antenna, the center pin of the coax, that kind of thing. Yep. So. All right, and that answers his question. Don Z says, yeah, I use the Wolf River coil on the screen and use the alligator clip for redundancy. I acquired a Faraday cloth and I want to use it instead of the screen to see how it works. We were talking about those Faraday cloths last month, and I got my cloth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you also get the grounded bed sheets or?
This stuff, I wrap myself in it, and I feel like an astronaut.
Do you? Yeah, heavy on the ass.
More like Ziggy Stardust, I guess.
Yeah. Were you over in Minnesota when you did this too?
But this is the Faraday cloth. It is like, it's material. And it's got wire, like copper threads woven into it. And if you hold a meter on this, it's got continuity. So
interesting.
Yep. And I used it. This week on a POTA activation, and it worked.
Does it work better than a window screen, and how much more does it cost?
It costs 3 times as much as Windows screen. So you would think it would work 3 times better, but it works the same. But it works. So, and it folds up really small. And the edges are starting to fray, so I'm gonna have to hem it or something.
Right. So it lasts about as long as a piece of window screen.
Probably. Yeah, we'll see. Once I'll get this hemmed or something, or taped on the edges, because it's looking really bad right now. But this will be next week's video if you want to see more.
Okay.
But that's the Faraday cloth. So
you could just put Milwaukee on the side of it and charge 6 times as much.
I was doing a little research, and then all of a sudden I get onto these websites, and it gets into this total protect yourself from 5G sort of thinking.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's the same.
Can you weave a tinfoil hat out of that crap?
You can make a whole tinfoil suit with this.
Oh, you can be the Tin Man. If I only had
So,
a brain.
I think I think the RF suppression properties are probably a lot of bunk, but like it works really good as a ground plane.
Wow. Maybe I'll weave myself a pair of underwear and try that. How about that?
There you go. That'll be your magic underwear.
You can bury me in them. See how long I last.
Yeah. All right. Ground control to Major Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, take your protein pill and put your goggles on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, put something on.
Put something on. All right. We're coming at the bottom of the hour. And this is the part of the show where I like to acknowledge all of the people that really help make this show and all of the videos possible, and that's our patrons. Patrons keep the wheels going around on the crazy bus that is Ham Radio Q&A, Ham Radio Outdoors.
And this is one crazy short bus, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is. So just kind of want to give a shout out to our new October patrons. These are the people that have joined in the last month on our supporters and our friends levels. New supporters, Jude W. and Lance Havramale. Our friend level, Matthew Pressing, John in North Carolina, and Gary Tedlock. Thank you so much for that. And then in our associate producers, these are the people that I like to acknowledge every month because they're the ones that are our top level supporters of the channel. So they're the ones that really help us the most. And our continuing supporters, our continuing associate producers, John T. Young, Michael Lyle, Michael Radzicki, Paul Raimondi, Andy Russell, Bill, and Dave White, and Alex Valderrama, Rand Gray, Paul Chandler, Brian Liebig, Ron Greathouse, Joe Marhine, Cliff Colvin, Mark Martins, and I see Mark is in the chat today. I'm going to give him a shout out. Yep. And our new patron this month is Ken Effing. So good. Thank you for your continued support. It's really appreciated.
Hey, you could be like Ken Effing. Ken Effing rules.
And you too can support the mission to educate and inspire amateur radio. Patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas. And now a quick word from our sponsor. KB9 VBR antennas are simple, effective, and affordable VHF and UHF antennas for amateur radio, MERS, public safety, and GMRS. Made in the USA with quality parts. Get yours online at jpole-antenna.com. All right.
There we go.
And I said that, and I thought Mark was in the house here, and I saw him.
Just a little bit there.
There it is. Yep. Enterprise Lake, Elko, Wisconsin. So
I know right where that is. I spent some time over on Post Lake, so
Elko's it's a nice little town up there in the Northwoods. So.
Yep. The last stop in Langlade County before you get real north.
On the way to Crandon.
Lake, I think, is on the west side. No, east side is Post Lake. West side is Enterprise Lake, if I remember right.
Yeah.
They do not have gang wars, because if they had gang wars, there's only like 300 people. I mean, that'd be it.
It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
And sorry, no relation. Sorry, they're 45. All right. So let's see. Jude asks, interesting topics. Any suggestions to hunt POTA activations in Alaska and Hawaii from Wisconsin? So, well, our good buddy Eric, KH6WI, is the POTA person for the entire state of Hawaii. There's others.
Right.
But Eric
is the POTA person.
He's stationed down, is it Oahu? No, Honolulu. He's stationed in Honolulu. and he gets on the air on a very regular basis. And as of late, I think he's been working a lot of satellite, but he does the other modes too, FT8, phone, and look for his call sign, KH6WI, and you should be able to catch him. Especially, watch the gray line for 15 meters and 10 meters. That's probably going to be your best bet. I made my when Dave White, another friend of the channel, when he was in Hawaii last February, we established contact on 15-meter FT8, and we watched the gray line and caught it then. So it's there's a
gray line's going to be your friend on that one. It's just unless you're getting some really good skips, gray line is going to be the best way to get them, just based on that. Alaska, I've gotten them contesting, but usually you got a powerhouse station when they're working from a park, with minimal setup. That's a toughie. It really is. But don't worry, you're in the same boat as just about the rest of the lower 48 on those.
So Alaska was my last state to get as a POTA hunter, and I was able to this summer. I don't know what happened, but I was cruising the dial on 20 meters, looking for a quiet spot or looking for something, I guess. But I was cruising the dial, and I heard KL7EC calling CQ POTA, and I responded, and he came back to me on the first try, and they were good signal reports. It was like 5.3, 5.5. So
very
it
good.
just happens sometimes. So that kind of surprised me. That happened just like on a Monday afternoon in July, which was on 20 meters, which was really weird. We just got lucky. As an activator, Alaska's worked me many times. There's a couple of guys there with power stations, NL7V, and I've gotten him in the log a half a dozen times or so. But he's got stacked amp. He's got a Henry amp and stacked stepper antennas on a.
Oh well, hey. Everyone wants to be like Michael, and I'm not talking about you, Michael.
Yeah.
That's like the Air Jordan of antennas right there.
Yeah. So it's like, he's coming in loud, and you say, you're 4.4 there. And so it's always, so it's possible to get Alaska either way, as an activator and as a hunter. Those are the people to watch for. Put those two guys in your ham alert, and if you want to get Alaska or Hawaii.
Right. And the other thing too is, of course, watch the spotting page. Well, and make sure if you catch them on there, start listening, and just remember, sometimes you got to listen up and down and see, as people will spot them. If they're if you start seeing 6s and 7s, the West Central Wisconsin or the Midwest, you can see 0s and 9s picking them up. But then you probably got a better shot at getting.
Yeah, then it's coming in. It's coming in. It's really how you play the propagation, because it doesn't take much. Let's see. Nathan says he's gotten POTA Alaska with 20 watts and a dipole on 20 meters. So it's possible. You just gotta hit them right. So.
Exactly.
Chuck is asking, which telescopic fiberglass pole would you suggest? And
I haven't used one in a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, 45 says he's got the Soda Beams 10-meter mast, and that's a really good one. Bill is suggesting Spider Beam. That's another really good mast. I know that MFJ makes that carbon fiber pole that's supposed to be pretty nice. I haven't really tried.
Some MFJs are heavy on the fiber.
Heavy on the fiber for sure.
Yep.
There's a company called Jackite, Jackite. They're actually a Jackite. They actually make kites, but they make fiberglass and carbon poles fly these big, ornamental kind of
Uh-huh.
kites. So you can, they've got like a, I don't know what are those called? The 30-foot pole and whatnot that hoist the kite up. But a lot of hams are using those too.
That
So.
sounds like an electrocution just waiting to happen.
Doesn't it though?
About 25,000 volts going right through it. I can see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. So, Don C, yes, 12-meter spider beams from the spider beams are good poles. The soda beams are good poles. So it's I'd probably go, go that direction if you're looking for something. All right. Let's see. Our buddy Chuck is in the house. Northern Ireland last week on a soda, and
Nice.
Chuck, hey, not bad. Chuck, I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for Chuck KK6USY is part of the Coffee and Ham Radio Group. I'm holding it upside down, but he sent me one of their Aries antenna kits. This is the 9-to-1. Non-resident end-fed antenna. So I gotta build this and put this on the air in the next week or so. So
very nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Chuck, for sending that, and we'll get that put together, make a video on it. I've been really happy with their Apollo end-fed half wave. So we'll see what the Aries ones does. So. Okay. Speaking of antennas, though, I didn't tell you this, Joe, but I probably should have before the show. So.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm not prepared here, so.
Well, I got one of these. This is the Chameleon LEFS 8010.
Okay.
And I am not happy with it at the moment because.
Oh no.
I've used this antenna 4 times, maybe 5 tops.
Okay.
And the insulation is broken in 4 different places.
Really?
So, yeah. Let me show you. Let's see if I can get the screen to come up here. I got some slides. All right. So here's the antenna. And if I go to the next slide, you can kind of see on the left here and on the right side where the brakes are. But yeah. Now this is that fancy this is the military spec Kevlar wire with the braided wire in there. So it's got a Kevlar cord with the wire braid and then the insulation. So the insulation has separated in 4 different places, and I've hardly used this antenna, more than because once I noticed that the insulation is breaking, I stopped using it because it's
yeah.
Yeah. So
that's peculiar. So yeah, they use that's an interesting concept. So they use a cable almost like a single pair Belden for people who do like low voltage stuff. But one conductor is that braided tinned wire.
Yep.
And the other is a Kevlar non-conductive string, for lack of a better term. The Kevlar is extremely durable, but that outer jacket is breaking.
The outer jacket is breaking.
Yeah.
I could probably put some tape on there, but it doesn't put a whole lot of faith or trust in this wire at all.
Right. And so I have the original MCOM3 portable, which was a very similar design. And that just uses the Teflon PFTE wire.
Yep.
Okay. And I've never had a problem with that. But that's just regular wire with a
Hmm.
Teflon insulation on it. So this is different, and I'm not yeah, that's not cool. I mean,
No, it's
it
not.
still works. It still works,
Yeah.
but that braid is gonna eventually fail.
Hmm.
It's gonna fail. It's gonna kink. Now, is the wire getting kinked? Is that what's going on there?
I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't look like, I don't know if it, it shouldn't have kinked. I mean, I haven't used this more than a couple times, more than 5 tops. I had
Right.
it out a couple times last fall, and I think twice in the spring.
Okay.
And so it wasn't abused, it wasn't stretched, beyond any possible, type of the imagination.
Yeah.
I've got their older end-fed half wave with the black wire, and
Hmm. That's
I've probably put
the
I've put that up in
PTFE.
the yeah, I've put that up in the air to, maybe 20 times, and I haven't had an issue with that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this gotta
I would be calling and asking for a refund or a new antenna on that.
well,
That's bull.
they sent this to me, so it's not like I
Okay.
can get my money back. I suppose I can.
Well,
I'll
just goes to show you that we do give honest reviews about the stuff we get sent. So,
Yep, yep. So it's yeah, I was thinking of doing a video on just kind of recapping, long-term use of these antennas. And
mm,
one nice thing is I know, other channels, they review a lot of products, and things go in and things come out and you never hear from them again. But if I like a
mm,
product, I'm going to use it over and over and over again. You'll see it come up on the channel multiple times.
yeah, like
So
Rig Expert,
like the
love
Rig
those
Expert.
guys.
Yep, yep.
They are so far ahead of the times versus the MFJ analyzer was like the de facto ham radio antenna analyzer,
Mhm.
and then Rig Expert came out and just blew them out of the water.
Blew them out of the water. Yeah, or
Right.
the Wolf River coil. It's out there all the time.
Yep.
Um, yep, Chuck and his Apollo antennas. I've had that out. I've had it since August, and I've used it 3 times already.
Hmm.
So it's so yeah, we're looking forward to this. He says I'm the first guy to get the green wire. So
Oh,
uh,
really?
yeah, thanks for sending it in a
Hmm.
different color, Chuck, because now I can easily tell the difference between my Apollo and my Aries. I like this.
So
This
the
is a
green
nice
wire is
green
the
too.
collector item.
Yeah, yeah. That older chameleon lightweight end-fed system. I like that antenna, and I used, that one showed up, maybe I don't know how many videos that one was in.
Mhm.
So it's yeah.
Yeah,
So, but if
I've had the MCOM 3 portable for I bet you 5 years now,
yeah,
and that's never happened. And I've used that quite a bit. That's never happened to that wire.
yep, yep.
So
So I don't know. We'll see. I'll let Chameleon know, and see what their take is on it. I got a feeling I know what their take is, but
right,
we'll let them know. Um, but yep, that's my 2 cents worth on that.
that's mil spec for you.
Mills, somebody said that. Military spec. That's the
That's the
problem.
problem. Yeah, it said it was mil spec.
Ah.
Harbor Freight mil spec. You know.
Hmm. Harbor Freight. Oh man.
Hey, I'll tell you what about Harbor Freight. I bought a 1/4 inch drive torque wrench, right, for 20
Hmm.
bucks. Best 20 bucks I've ever spent. Help me out.
Hey,
Help me out in a jiffy.
there's a that's I've heard other people say that about Harbor Freight, in that, if there's a tool, that you're going to only need to use once or twice, go buy it at Harbor
Yep.
Freight,
Yep.
and
But
be done
everyone
with it.
loves the U.S. General toolboxes.
Hmm.
You see them all over. So I don't know.
Yeah, I got a Harbor Freight. I got a Harbor Freight angle grinder. I needed one to for something, $18, it does the trick. Oh, all right.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Nathan's got a set of those torque wrenches for 36.
Oh God, all
They
three
work
of them, huh?
Hey.
All the way up to the half-inch drive.
For the time you need a torque wrench, that's
Yep.
not a bad deal.
Michael, I got to go off camera for a minute. There is
Okay.
something in my throat.
All right.
Don't put this in the video that you edit for next week.
I'll solo here for a second. We'll let Joe clear his throat, and I'm gonna talk about something that's come up, and big news in the world of Parks on the Air, and that is that let's see if I can find here. The moratorium for adding new parks is going to be lifted effective December 1st. They just announced the news, I think it was yesterday, and I'll pull this up here. Let's see if we can get the screen share going again. So what's happening is that North American mapping update for the last almost 3 years, or actually it's been 2 years, there's been a pause on adding new parks to the Parks on the Air program. That was to allow expansion of the program into other countries and areas. So in order to take some of the stress off of of growing the program in the U.S., they paused adding locations 2 years ago, and focused their attention on adding new countries. We got parks in the UK, we got parks in most of the European countries, we got parks in Japan, et cetera, Africa. I think just about every continent, well, with the exception of Antarctica, has probably got a Parks on the Air entity now. So. But the good news is that effective December 1st, that the U.S. state mapping reps will now have the ability to create new parks in their respective states. So, which is really cool. Every state's got a mapping representative, and they will. So if you have the same rules are going to exist in adding new parks to the system. They got to be federal parks, they got to be state parks, state managed, federally managed, wildlife areas, wildlife management areas, natural areas, state trails, things like that. I know in the state of Wisconsin here, we have a lot of natural areas and state trails that really can be added to the system. And our mapping representative has been maintaining a list of potential new entities within the state of the Wisconsin, so that when that moratorium is lifted, he can stick those in. And Joe is just sitting. Oh, Joe's back. Thanks for the reminder there.
I have risen. I am alive. I don't know what was in my throat there, but back to it. So we were talking about this just before the show.
Yep.
The first tribal national park opened in Wisconsin, and it's up by Madeline Island, the
Red Cliff
Band of the Lake Superior, Chippewa, which is north of Bayfield, now have a tribal national park.
Hey, that's cool.
So, Michael, I think you need to talk to our state mapping representative, and let's get this one on the air.
We'll tell this. I'll send this out over to Ryan. I don't know if he's watching tonight. Sometimes he chimes in, sometimes he doesn't. But yeah, we might need to. This might need to be added to the list. So this could be one of those.
I'm trying to visualize where this is exactly up there.
It is. Oops,
this has got to be north of Red Cliff, isn't it?
I think so. What road is that? That is. It looks like it's north of Red Cliff, and so
Almost
probably
by
I think
closer to
I was gonna.
Cornucopia, or
I'm just gonna say it's. I think it's just a little bit west of the casino.
oh,
So,
okay, okay. Well, very good.
there's
I
some.
have to go. I have to. It's been a few years since I've been to Red Cliff. I've been to Bayfield quite a few times, going out to
Yeah.
Madeline Island. But I used to always go up to Red Cliff for the sled dog races in February. And since
Yep.
COVID, they haven't had those races anymore. So it's been a long time since I've been up there. But it's beautiful country, guys. Definitely, if you get a chance to far northern Wisconsin, get up there and take a look at it.
Yeah, we were just up there last week. It's lovely country.
Yes.
So, but moving back to the so our mapping reps will be able to add these parks. If you want to know who your mapping rep is, and let's see if I can Parks on the Air website. Scroll down on the main page. You'll see United States mapping representatives, and there are contact links for everybody. So,
And apparently they are a lot better than our representatives in the House of Representatives. They are functional.
they are functional.
Right.
So.
They do usually respond. They're not voting each other out of office.
I know our rep is a pretty good guy, so it's and I'm sure the other
he keyed you in on a new one being open, and you got to hit it the first day, I believe, right?
Well, I'm the one that suggested it, and he was able to get it into the system. So
there you go.
Yeah. So, and he's got a list. So if you know of any, well, I should say you should contact your own individual mapping representative if you want to see something. Yeah. Added to the list. Let's see. Yeah, 45 says, hey, hopefully they'll remove the parks that are on private land and shouldn't have been included at all. Yeah, that's a tough call. But I know I'm pretty sure there's probably some that exist. So it's
how can a national park be on private land, or is it surrounded by private land?
It could be a state, maybe a state park or something.
Yeah.
Although we've got in Wisconsin, we've got a state park that is actually run by a township.
Right, you were actually at that one, I believe. Right?
Lost Dolphin State Park is maintained. Yeah, it's maintained by the local municipality, but it's still cataloged as a state park.
Right, right.
But that's still public land. That's not private land. But,
well, so the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is that hopefully that they will start adding state trails.
Yes,
because I might be a little bit of a nerd when it comes to railroads. Like, here's I don't care. Here's Foamer. If you know what a Foamer is, I'm like about here. I don't foam, but I love the history of railroading in Wisconsin, especially finding old logging railroads and things of that nature.
Yep.
So getting out on old rail trails is just and activating that sounds great to me. So
that would, yeah, I know. I've seen Ryan's list, and I know that in Wisconsin here, all of our, a lot of the state trails, almost all of them, I think, are on his list. So that's the first thing we'll see injected into the system.
So I'll be the first to try to activate all rail trails in Wisconsin.
Worked all rail trails. Got to do it on your bike.
W-A-R-T, WART. The WART award. Oh, the Gandy Dancer. Yes, the Gandy Dancer. I've been on that one. That's actually in northwestern Wisconsin, up by Siren and Webster.
Yep. Yeah.
Would it be possible to use railroad tracks as an antenna? Funny you mentioned that, Nathan. Thanks for asking, Nathan. Yes. Yes, you can use them as. Now, first of all, the problem is don't use live or ones that are used, especially ones that may have signals on them. That would be bad.
They do
But
use the tracks for their signals. Yes.
yes, there used to be the strange antenna contest. Okay. Now, people would basically try to make the farthest contact that they can with whatever they can find. And they were guys, no lies, they load up for 160 meters on a highway guardrail.
There you go.
As long as you can find a 50-ohm match, you can do it. So,
hey,
yeah, that's definitely, yeah, you could do it. I do know a set of rails in northern Wisconsin that it would work real good for that. Actually, you could probably work 2,200 meters off those babies, but you got to remember they're on the ground, so it's going to be very endless. It's going to just go straight up. You're not going to have any horizontal takeoff on those.
Yep, that is true. That is true. So, exactly. All right.
But you could use them. But Nathan, you could use them as a counterpoise. Hint, hint.
Hey, there we go. Right? It's not a bad idea.
I don't need no stinking Faraday cloth. But then you also got to think that the counterpoise can affect directionality of a vertical antenna, so you may be limited in the direction based on which way the tracks are going.
Yep.
So, but because of the thickness and the gauge of the railroad tracks, you have really great bandwidth. Okay, let's get on to a different subject.
You know what? It's about that time. I know we were waiting for Travis, but let's kind of dig into the I guess I was going to say elephant in the room, but it's not. I don't want to.
It's more of a rhinoceros. It's a pachyderm of some sort.
A pachyderm of some sort. Oh, Joe. You must have hit your USB there.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't even touching it this time. Hold on.
Oh.
I was not touching it.
So while Joe resets himself, at the start of the show, we were talking about the Wisconsin POTA campout. It's going to be the first one in the state. First one to my knowledge, at least, and that's going to be in about a week, October 13th through the 15th.
Yeah. Next Friday.
It starts already. Joe's wearing some of the merch that.
Let's see if I can get the merch in right there. If you go to KB9DBR, jpolantennas.com, right here, you can get one of these fancy things. This is the hoodie. And it's going to be a little chilly, so I got the hoodie here.
You got the hoodie. You're all good to go.
Got the here. Let me get a little closer there. Ooh, yeah, we got that. The light is wow. The Logitech camera does not adjust well to the light, but they got stickers, T-shirts. We got just about everything up there, don't we?
Everybody will get it. Everybody that attends will get a sticker. I got 100 of these. And if I got any leftover stickers, if you make contact with me over the weekend and send me a QSL card, you'll get a sticker. So it's if we got any leftover, but
yep, it'll be a heck of a good time. Michael and I have kind of like tossed this idea back for a few years now, because there are POTA like picnics.
There's meetups all over the place. They've got meetups, and
but we've never really had one in Wisconsin.
No, not to any large degrees. And I always wanted to put a POTA meetup together. But then we do for the last few years. Joe, Travis, and I have been doing a POTA campout, and it's always been a lot of fun. And I thought, hey, well, why don't we invite everybody to it? And
exactly. And you know what? You don't even need to be a general. You can have a tech, bring your HT, because it'd be really easy to get 10 contacts and 5.2 simplex.
Oh, we'll get you on multiple bands. There's about 25 people registered. So it's, you'll be able to activate the park with your HT.
Michael, do we have a word? Are the Faraday hoodies still on back order?
Oh.
I need the Faraday hoodie. Thanks,
Oh,
Nathan. It's
yeah.
gotta have a ground that I can plug into the ground. There you go.
Oh,
Also, in the event of a forest fire, you can wrap that around yourself as an emergency blanket.
emergency blanket. All right, Scout's got his hoodie on now too. He took Thursday off. Oh, he's heading over early. I'll be
Ooh,
there. I'll be there Friday.
Scout,
Probably around.
you're in charge of finding firewood for everyone. Okay, you're our scout. Scout.
I'll be getting there about Friday. Around I expect about noonish. So it's get there early enough to welcome everybody as they start coming in.
Okay, I have Friday off, so I can be ready by 10 o'clock if you want to leave around then, and we'll just
Okay,
caravan
yeah,
up. And
that sounds good.
we'll turn on the APRS so you can follow us. We'll be
Yep.
the lead elephants in this parade.
5.2 simplex or talk in will be on. There's a couple repeaters up there that you can talk in. And if you're concerned about the cold weather and don't want to camp for the weekend, you're welcome to come for the day. I'm going to pull our screen up here. If you go to my website, jpole-antenna.com, and I'll just throw that on the screen here. There we go. You can, where's my mouse? Scroll on down, click my face away. There we go. The Wisconsin Ham Radio Campout. Click on that, and this will tell you everything you need to know about the event. I've been updating it as we go along. It's October 13th through 15th. It's at the Northern Highlands American Legion State Forest, the Clear Lake Campground. That's just outside of Woodruff, Wisconsin, kind of between Woodruff and Lake Tomahawk. We're going to have about, like I said, there's about 25 people registered to camp, and but I know there's people that are going to come in for the day, just to have a little, to see the activities, maybe do a little bit of activating, for the day or whatnot. It should be a lot of fun. So if you're concerned about the weather, come for the day. We're gonna have a potluck Saturday evening, so stay for that. Here's the campground. All of these sites are pretty much all filled up, but there's a lot of space there. So
oh, really? Because like when we started booking this a month and a half ago, like we were just the couple sites way up there, and there was nothing else.
Yeah, but everybody. Oh, hey, we got Eric.
Next year, we better get a bigger park. Hey, K6WI, there he is.
Yeah, we got Eric from Hawaii. We wish you could be here too. So you're gonna have to send us some warm weather for the weekend.
Yeah, next year we're coming down to you, buddy.
We'll try to park him.
There we go.
We'll set up a schedule. Like I said, all the information. I got repeaters on here. And of course, the merch link. There's a couple of videos, dump stations if you need to, and if you want to see I found a video if you actually want to see what your campsite looks like. So tons of stuff to do. Operate as little as you want, as much as you want. I know we're going to have a lot of new POTA people at the event, so I'm going to do a POTA 101, just a short seminar, probably sometime on Saturday. So we can talk about, what do you need to get started with Parks on the Air, equipment, antennas, logging, all of those operational aspects. And it'll be, and then there'll be, I'm still going to say there'll be tons of hands-on opportunities in the park if you want to try your hand if you don't have a lot of equipment. So
it'll be like a little ham fest. You just stop at each table or each campsite and see something a little different. See how
everybody's doing their POTA thing, and that's the whole intention of it is to have that kind of just that big sort of critical mass of hams, operating, having a good time out in the park.
Exactly.
We may have another person do a POTA digital session. If you've never tried the digital modes like FT8 and that, he'll be available for that. And Karen is asking, we record POTA 101. I'll most likely record it. And I'm also thinking about, depending on the quality of the cell service, I know there's a tower nearby the campsite, the campground there. If we get a good signal, I'm going to try to live stream part of the event on Saturday. So,
yes, before things get too wild, Wisconsin, if you know
they
what I
get
mean.
too wild, Wisconsin. So we'll try to do a live stream Saturday afternoon for a little bit, so people can see the activities. I'll record the POTA 101, and we'll release a video on it. And it'll be. And I know there's some other YouTube content creators are going to be there. A couple others are going to be there. So it's I'm sure that they're going to be making content too. Scout. So it's going to be.
I charge for my likeness, boys. Okay, just saying.
It's going to be a great time. I'm really looking. I'm I'm really looking forward to it. So.
Before the naked people go running around. Oh no, I think we're passing a law against that. From what I heard,
no, that's not going to happen. It's going to be too cold for that.
Right. All of a sudden, our 80-meter beam is now 10 meters.
10 meters. Oh.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to say it.
One last thing about the event. There's something's really cool is going to happen on Saturday, October 14th, and we're going to be able to. This is kind of a big deal. We're going to be able to take and being at the campout, we're going to be able to take part in this. And there is an annular solar eclipse. Now, there's two different types of eclipses. There's the total eclipse, where the moon blocks everything out, when it crosses in front of the sun. And then the annular eclipse is because of the position of the moon in relation to the sun. You don't get that totality. Maybe it's like 90% coverage. So so that's what we're going to be experiencing on Saturday morning, is an annular eclipse.
Now, we had a total eclipse a few years ago.
About 5 years ago, yeah.
About 4 or 5 years ago. And there was some research done in the ham radio world. And what happens, what we've noticed, is that the F layer starts to do what it does at dusk. It starts separating into F1 and F2, and your 40 and 80 meters really starts to come around for that period of coverage, that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or even an hour, depending on where you are with the path of the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start making 40 and 80 meter contacts in the daytime.
In the daytime hours, that is correct.
Right. So I think if you really want to make a real cool POTA contact with us, we'll try to work 40 and 80 during the day, during the eclipse. Let's see what happens.
Now the maximum is going to be around is going to cut through the southwestern U.S. and affect most of the state of Texas. Up here in northern Wisconsin, they're only expecting about 40%. 40% coverage. So it might get a little wonky for us, but it'll be interesting to see how that F layer sort of plays out.
Right. And hopefully we have some FT8 and CW operators, and we'll see what the difference is between them and sideband as well. There
we go. So the where and when. This is, let's see if I can't blow it. This is not letting me blow it up. Oh, come on.
Oh, you blew it up there.
We go.
There we go.
So as you can see, the big stuff is going to happen in the West, and in Wisconsin here, we're only going to see 40% coverage. I think it's, if I remember correctly, for us, it's going to start around 10:30 in the morning, and the maximum is going to be 11:45 Central Time, and about 1:00 p.m. it's going to be over with.
Okay.
So
this will be a midday sort of thing, Central Standard Time.
Late morning. It's going to be a late morning
daylight time. We're still on daylight time. So.
Daylight time. Yeah, it's going to be a late morning thing for us. And
okay.
And your times, depending on your time zone, and these how the sun's position and things like that. There's a lot of good sites you can go that'll give you very accurate description of what a portrayal of what the times are going to be. You just enter your location, your latitude and longitude, or your zip code or something like that, and it'll figure out where you live, and it'll calculate those times. So just Google annular eclipse times or something like that. I think it was like timeanddate.com had that had a good map and chart to tell you what the times are going to be. So
definitely that's going to be a really crazy thing, especially for having all of us here in Wisconsin teaming up for a POTA weekend at a campsite. So we'll report back next month, let you know how it turned out.
Yep, and that's Saturday, October 14th. So it's a week from Saturday. So it's that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to camping and seeing what the eclipse does. So all right, and we'll drop that quick. All right, got a couple. KR5 Echo. I haven't got you on the air for a few weeks.
Echo. So we were just talking about Red Cliff, and when we were up there the past couple of times, Michael, I always got the tactical call sign Echo Valley.
Echo Valley, yes.
Echo Valley, right? Because I was sitting up on top of a hill looking over this valley where the dogs would come through, and it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, just hopped over from Coffee and Ham Radios. They give us a shout out. Yep. Yeah, they sent me an antenna. I got to build this. So I've been given the coffee guys some love here this evening too. So
hey, good. Coffee guys, I don't get any love.
We'll get you set up there, Joe. So.
All right, just saying. Otherwise, it might be Rum and Ham Radio guys that help me out here. Okay, just saying. All right,
so I don't know, Joe, are you ready for this?
So yeah, we've kind of. I mean, I've ground the gears to the point where they're just round, guys. But in honor of the annular eclipse coming and trying to get the stars aligned and get in touch with everything, trying to really change things, I started to get into astrology, Michael.
All right.
Ham radio astrology. And based on a picture, I can tell you your future.
Oh.
Right? So Michael has found a few pictures, and I'm going to do my best here. Somewhere between, the psychic hotline and, QSL here. Well, bring some of those pictures up and let's see what we can figure out.
All right. So this ham radio astrology, the whole thing is that Joe is going to look deep into your psyche, and as a
live long and prosper.
As a mobile operator, and he's going to tell you your future based upon your mobile setup.
So, all right, let's see what you got here, Michael.
So we're gonna see if I can get
and big in the screen here.
Okay. Why am I not seeing?
Oh, Michael, I know what's in your future.
Okay, entire screen. Okay.
Getting rid of your Mac, I think is what you're going to do.
No, we're on a. Okay, and I'm going to pull over. Come on. See if I can. Okay, see if I can get these. All right.
Well, well, this person's going places. The first thing that I worry about is, can he actually see that right hand mirror over there? I'm guessing not, but that's okay. With all those radios, you don't need to see what's on the right hand side. I'm sure at least 2 or 3 of those are actually in the radar band, right? This is the type. I mean, first of all, he likes to have the same radio. I'm sure he probably got all those from like a government surplus auction or something there, except maybe for that 746. That's a working man's radio. I like that. I like that. And the cable management, that just shows he's a free spirit. Really a
Well,
free
let's.
a lot of free spirit going on there. Hey, you also, sir, like heat. You probably don't have a heater in that Jeep. The heater core probably burnt out years ago, but you got plenty of inductive heat going on back there. You don't need to have fancy stuff like that. Next
No,
one.
you don't. That HF rig's not going anywhere too with the lack of cables, but
Right. Well, no, that's actually got the Bluetooth option. Completely wireless.
Completely wireless. Wireless technology. Yeah. All right, we got another one here.
The Ford Escort really has gotten a bad rep, guys. I mean, nowadays, a 30-year-old vehicle that gets 30 miles per gallon, that's not a bad thing, right? This guy's thrifty. And you know what? He takes care of things. He uses up everything as much as possible here. No waste, no waste. This gentleman right here is thinking green. I mean, he's used up every inch of real estate for an antenna on this thing here. And I love the back. I mean, he's also an artist. I mean, he's definitely done some customization there on the back tail light. Really great. He's also a lover. He's supporting some sort of cancer there on the door. I'm not quite sure what, but he's got something. Or that could just be holding the door handle together.
I think that's holding the door of rest.
Right. But just really the effective ground plane here. This guy, I'm pretty sure he's probably about 65. Probably never married, and probably been kicked out of every local radio club that he's ever been in. Next.
Probably.
Oh, hey. First of all, easy on the big backs, fella. That's going to be rule number 1. Second of here, if you're in a car accident, what happens to the airbag? I mean, you're going to have shrapnel all over the place here, but you know what? You live fearlessly. No fear. I'm sure you got that sticker somewhere on that, right? My key. Well, I don't see a key in there. I mean, most of this is VHF, UHF. Yeah, I see a couple. Ooh. He's got either that's a scanner in the center of the dash, or that's a Motorola HF there. That's impressive. I like that.
Yes.
Again, he's also got the inductive heater on the floor. Very nice touch. I enjoy that. The suicide seatbelt as well. This guy.
You don't see those anymore.
Well, no, because that's why they call it the suicide seatbelt. This guy lives fearlessly. You know what? What was Evel Knievel's call sign? I think this might be his vehicle.
All right, I think we got one more here.
Ooh, whoa. Slow down there, high speed. Slow down. That is a professional installation. I don't see any exposed wires. He's got the WeatherTech floor mats there.
Yes, he does.
That's a nice addition there. The big old Motorola DTMF mic. I don't even recognize that Motorola radio there. That is a work of art. Just look at that beast. He's got 2 scanners there. He's got a 706. Looks like he's got a light rack.
He's got the siren unit.
He's got, and is that a 10-meter radio on the bottom there? Little,
Oh,
nope,
yeah.
nope. I think that might actually be a CB there. So he's covering the chicken band as well. Bless his heart. Plus, he's got a Baofeng and an FRS radio. He's got a light there. I mean, dude, look at this guy. He's got a leather interior, natural wood grain steering wheel.
Yeah.
All professional.
All
This guy
professional.
is living the high life. I mean, this guy is loaded. Wow. I think this guy's an engineer. Honestly, an engineer or maybe a rocket scientist.
Or an electrician.
No. The other pictures were electrician. I know those guys. I work with them. Oh, this is a right proper installation here. Good on you, buddy. I like this. I love to see what your antenna setup is on this. This is work of art.
That's something else. That's something else.
Bless their hearts.
Oh, bless their hearts indeed. So if you want to have your fortune read by our esteemed Swami Joe.
Well, I gotta get the Johnny Carson hat.
Oh yeah.
The Swami hat. We'll have to work on that for next month.
Send us your ham sexy pics.
Yes. So go to KB9VBR at yahoo.com. Send us those ham sexy pics.
Ham sexy pics.
We'll take a look at them next month.
Yep. This might be a regular feature.
I think so. I think we got a winner here.
Yep, had to give a like for that. So, all right.
Lawyer hired a rocket scientist to put it together. I met those guys. He might be a CPA. You never know. Luxurious.
All right.
He's probably got gold spinners for rims,
That one car there, it looks like it needed a brake job. The wheel covers were awful black.
I think the brakes were the least of his problems. The lack of brakes might have been like a thing that was actually intentional. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
The suicide seatbelt and the fact that he's got 40 things sitting on the dash in front of the airbags.
Oh, gee, Louis Willies. Well, that's it for another show.
Oh, boy.
I thought we couldn't hit the depths, but man, we just...
we've hit the Mariana Trench tonight, boys and girls.
We raised that bar so high, we just walked right under it.
Raised it. This is Challenger deep, my friend. Next month, we're going to go a little lower.
How low can you go? All right. So our next live stream is going to be Tuesday, November 2nd, 7:00 p.m. We'll love to have you. It's always a fun time.
We'll go over our POTA campout.
Yes.
We'll talk about the eclipse and, of course, a few more ham sexy pictures. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it'll be a good show. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. It's always been a treat. But it's time for us to go. I'm Michael, KB9VBR. And I'm Joe, KD9CJX, 73.
73.